Hello again. I wanted to make a quick video today just talking about some books I got over the weekend. Over the weekend, I was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and every time we go down there, there is this bookstore. It's called the Moonpie General Store and Book Warehouse, and as you would expect, it has every type of there's moon pie snack cakes that you can think of. They have every type of flavor. You can buy a bunch of variety boxes. But on the other half of the store is this is a whole bookstore. They have a bunch of regular priced books on the top floor, uh, general fiction, nonfiction, whatever you can think of. And we go there. We go there all the time. And down in the basement, they have a whole floor of half-priced books that have been marked down, books that nobody really wants, or used books. And the past couple times I have been there, every time we go down to Pigeon Forge, we go to the store. And the past couple times that we've been there, I've not had a whole lot of luck. I mean, I've bought books every time I've been there, but there haven't really any books that I bought there lately that I've been jumping up and down excited for. Well, this time I bought a bunch of books that I was very excited for, so I wanted to show you those. And so I tried to organize these off of a general theme. I don't know how successful I was, but this first one is a from Perennial Classics, and it is a group of the short novels and short stories of Stephen Crane, and this interesting, uh, interesting cover, kind of a funny illustration of the author there. And this has, I think, his three main short works. The Red Badge of Courage, of course, and actually, why don't I just tell you what all is in here? Uh, when I was in middle school, the only time I've ever read Stephen Crane was when I was in middle school. We read his short story, The Open Boat, uh, which is famously based off of a shipwreck that he survived himself. And I really don't remember anything about it. It was back in middle school, so I think most of us have blocked out our middle school years. And so, what is in this book? So, obviously, The Red Badge of Courage, Maggie, A Girl of the Streets, and The Monster. And then in short stories, there is An Experiment in Misery, A Mystery of Heroism, An Episode of War, The Upturned Face, The Open Boat, The Pace of Youth, The Bride Comes to Yellow Sky, and The Blue Hotel. So, I mean, a good collection of stuff here. And so I've shamefully never read The Red Badge of Courage. That somehow has slipped by me. And so I was excited to found this for really cheap. So, yeah, there's the real author on the back. And then this next book is a Signet Classic mass market paperback, and I don't have a cop. I do not have a copy of this until now, and I have never read this either. I read a lot of classic novels, but I haven't gotten around to this. And this is Louisa May Alcott and Little Women. This is the most toned down copy that I could find, most toned down cover uh, of the book. So I was happy to find this. This is a little mass market paperback, and it's a Signet Classic, so it was a mere pittance. So I was happy to get that. And then this next one, this is a big chunky trade paperback. It's Mariner Classics. I've never heard of that publisher. And this is the collected stories of Eudora Welty. And I want to get into reading Eudora Welty. I really don't know much about her at all. And so I thought, well, get into her short stories. And this is apparently the collection of all of her short stories. I mean, she won a Pulitzer Prize. She won a National Book Award. So I was excited to find this for really cheap. Most of what I found, except for the Stephen Crane book, was all downstairs. Was all in that downstairs part for with like $3, $4, $5 books, and this was one of the cheap books down there. They surprisingly have a pretty good classics classics collection. So found this there, this big trade paperback. So I was happy about that. And then these next two books were have a Russian theme to them. Some of my favorite books in the world that I've read so far are those Russian classics. And this is a copy of something that I already have. It's the Death of Ivan Ilyich by Tolstoy, but this is the Pavir and Volokhonsky translation. It's a vintage class, one of the vintage classics trade paperbacks, and I have the mass market paperback of I think it's the Signet Classic copy of this. I forget off the top of my head who translated that one, but this is Pavir and Volokhonsky. When it comes to translations of Tolstoy, the very little that I have read, I get along with Pavir and Volokhonsky the best. I think that they translate Tolstoy's, seems to be the weirdness of his storytelling the best. It's just their translation of Anna Karenina is just so smooth to read. The only thing I don't like about Pavir and Volokhonsky is that for whatever reason they don't translate any of the French out of Tolstoy. And if you've read War and Peace, it is littered with French throughout, and they decide in their War and Peace translation, Pavir and Volokhonsky they translate it. It's half and half on whether or not they actually translate the French. Sometimes they put it down at the bottom of the page, so when you're reading it, you constantly have to look down to figure out it, because if you don't read French, figure out what it means. And so, but anyway, so I found this. I was happy to find this. I read this last night because it's like 50 pages, and I want to make a video about this, but I think I need to reread it again. I'm not entirely sure what Tolstoy was trying to get at with this story. This is the first time I've read it. He was starting to get into his God-bothering phase around this time, and so I think before I make the video, I want to read it one more time. It won't take me long, but I found this, was happy to find it. And then this next one, these last three are biographies, but this next one is a biography of Anna Akhmatova, a famous Russian poet from the 20th century, and this is by Elaine Feinstein. This is Anna of all the Russians. This was suggested on one of Steve Donahue's Hedgehog book recommendation videos, and big fan of Russian writers, and I had never heard of the Russian poet. When it comes to the Russian poets, you always hear about Lermontov or Pushkin, but never any women Russian poets. And this woman seemed to live a really fascinating life, and the little bit of her poetry that I have read, I've really enjoyed it, and so I was happy to find this for a mere pittance. So, and then this next one, since we're on the topic of the Russians, we want to talk about the Ukrainians. I thought this isn't a book. This is just a bobblehead. I thought this was kind of cool. They had this marked down really cheap for whatever reason. It's just a bobblehead of President Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. I thought this was kind of cool. I'll have to figure out where to put this on my bookshelf, but perhaps I put him right in front of the Russian books. That would be pretty funny. But that's a side note. And then this next one is a biography of a classical composer. The past couple years, I have really been trying to get into listening to classical music more, and what better? It'd be a pretty good way to get into classical music by reading biographies. This is by Jan Swafford, and this is his biography of Johannes Brahms. And I have his biography of Mozart. I have not gotten around to reading it yet, but he always seems to write these big, thick biographies of classical composers, and I have not listened to Brahms very much, so I'll be excited to read this. And then this last one, I was really surprised to find it, because I've tried looking for this online. Most of the books I get are used online, but I can't find this anywhere. And if I'm able to find it, I can't find it for cheap. So I struck gold at this bookstore. This is Hermione Lee's biography of Edith Wharton, this big 1,000-page biography of Edith Wharton, who of course wrote House of Mirth, The Age of Innocence, Ethan Frome, and I haven't read any of her stuff yet, but I really want to. I have a copy of The House of Mirth, and I've been reading biographies a lot more. I read Henry Troyat's biography of Chekhov, and I just read, of course, that Edna St. Vincent Millay biography, and so this is another biography that I'm excited that I found. I should probably read The House of Mirth first before reading this. This is a big undertaking, as 1,000 pages, so maybe read her novel first before getting into reading this biography. But yeah, those are all the books I got. I'm very excited about all of these. I think I struck gold on each one of them. So yeah, but that's all I wanted to do today. I'll probably make the video on The Death of Ivan Ilyich soon. Like I said, I think I need to read that again to figure out if it's just me or if Tolstoy's the problem. So and of course I will be the judge of that. So yeah, see you next time.